Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So, today our book is a very important topic, which is how do you do things you hate? Now, usually, if something is interesting, something exciting, you don't need to get any motivation or any particular uh, stimulus to do it. You just start and end. But mostly in our lives, in our work lives, we end up a situation where we not necessarily hate, we don't like. It could be our office job, it could be something our parents have told us, something our wives, spouses told us, or children have to do, or anything in life that is something we don't really like or we hate doing. So I think it's a very important book by Peter Hollins, and the top purpose of this presentation is to bring to you the practical applications which we can use for our daily lives in order to do things we hate. So before you proceed, I highly request you to please like and subscribe my channel, YouTube channel, so that more you may get the book reviews on a timely fashion. So here we start. First of all, the author he speaks about laziness. Okay, what is laziness? To begin with, laziness is not just a habit, a attitude that we develop. It's much more than that. There is much more to it than just we are postponing things and all. So, laziness can be defined as the conscious willingness to put in necessary effort required, unwillingness to put in necessary effort required to do tasks encompassing both mental and physical exertion. Well, that is the definition. But what we call laziness is, in fact, a cluster of behaviors, beliefs, attitudes, habits, and emotions. And we have to get into the basics of all this. Laziness is often overlaps but is distinct from procrastination because there are a lot more elements to laziness like lack of motivation, depression, lack of self interest. Laziness also triggers other secondary behaviors. If you have been lazy for a long time, it could feel counterintuitive to face these things. You just have got into this mindset of laziness. So even if you want to do something, you will not do. But however, doing so is the only way to understand what is happening. You have to delve more deeper into laziness. So let's first of all explore the causes of laziness and how it comes around. Okay, to begin with, the let's take over the causes. The cause of laziness is could be one of the causes could be the confusion कि I do not know what to do, and hence you are not lazy, you're just confused about what to do and how to do it. Hence, in order to solve it, what is the solution? You have to take a step back, acknowledge that you lack clarity, and take time to reflect and gather the necessary information and get comfortable with the fact that you first need to ask questions to dispel the confusion. Second could be fear of failure, a very prominent cause. This can paralyze you. It is the reaction to what we expect to happen once we take the action. Okay, we could fail, people could say no. However, this is not based on reality, but in our imagination in most of the times. And what is the solution? Is to face the fears. If you want to grow, you want to go over your fears, then you have to face your fears by separating fears from taking action. What will people say? What if I have failed? What if I have people say no? How embarrassing it would be? Fine, face your fears and take action. Action is the only antidote to the fear. Third is a fixed mindset. Now, as this name applies, it is those where you have those people who have this thing ingrained in themselves that they are what they are. They only know what they know. They either they don't want to or they just know and they can only do the work that they are assigned to. And this basically being lazy spares you the embarrassment of taking and failing at new things, and fixed mindset people are unwilling to endure the learning process becoming that becomes good if you undergo the process. But a growth mindset, which is the opposite of fixed mindset, entails challenges. It wants to learn and keep growing. So solution is you have to go to a growth mindset. Life is an evolving process. From a child you became an adult, adult you from a boy to a man to an old person. It's an evolving thing, and learning is also evolving. Fourth is apathy. I don't care. It doesn't matter. If I fail, it doesn't matter to me. If I pass, it doesn't matter to me. Let me go the easiest route. Let me fail. And the cause of this is that we have lost in touch with our own value system, or we don't have one. If our value is we commit to excellence, we will give the excellent product, or we will give the excellent presentation, or we will give the excellent piece of work, then such things of like apathy would not happen. Then comes the fact of self belief. Particularly for fixed mindsets, it is often easy to think that underachieving is my part. I'm only good for that work. Full stop. Similar to fixed mindset is self-belief. Okay, fine. I'm good for nothing. Let me fail. Let me just get rid of this. Do whatever I can with this assignment, this work, and let's see how it works. Again, the solution is you have to practice mindfulness meditation. Attach a mantra mindfulness to everything. You eat mindfully, you work mindfully. Whatever you do, just add the word mindfulness in front of it or at the back of it or wherever you feel necessary, and you will add the necessary emotional and the psychological support which you need. If your boss tells you to do a certain work, you don't like it, fine, accept it's boring, but do it mindfully. So when you say some feeling is boring, you create a distance between the feeling and your work, and hence your work and your attitude towards the work is different from the feeling you're having. That happens most of the time when we are supposed to do or told to do work. We are confused about, we don't like, but let's name the feeling and then move away from it. Another aspect is loss of heart. You just feel everything in a mess right now. My social life, my financial life, my relationship, let it another be thing in a mess, let it be. So solution is make it your mantra to accept things you cannot change and focus on the area of influence. We all as humans have a certain area of control, certain things we can control, most importantly our response, our work, our reaction, and there are many things we can't control, like others attitudes or what others think or what others say. So we cannot control, so let's focus on what we can control. And there is only one outreaching solution for most laziness problem, and that is not discipline but self mastery. And if you see this slide, the self mastery, it says the real cure. Why? Because it builds patience, because you have already mastered yourself, awareness and restraint, and hence you have to visualize the pleasure now versus future growth. Having said that, self mastery, being master of yourself, being master of your emotions, being master of your thoughts, has some hindrances. Major ones are the sensual desires, desire of sense, be it light, sound, taste, touch. You see a junk food, you see a burger, you want to have it, but then just pause and think of the long term consequence. You can have a burger right now, it could have a certain number of calories, but in order for the body to burn such calories, it would take days, and for you to exercise a lot. So always the easiest way to build self mastery is to think of the long term consequences of your existing actions. Also, another very important part of having self mastery is to, if you like, for example, you get a work, the work is boring, you have these negative feelings about the work, but you accept the negative feelings as you experiencing this as part of your life. Problem is not is with your job or the people around, it's with your own ill will. The job to you may be boring, but for others it would be livelihood. The job that you are doing right now, which you think is boring, is a dream job of many people, and hence it could be your own ill will and your mindset that's the problem. So first of all, you have to understand that life is not a bed of roses, it's not supposed to be easy, and you are not entitled to the best and the rosiest of all times. Hence, the solution is you should explore different approaches to a problem in order to make the work interesting. Just don't look at it as a work, but also again, this is the work that pays your child's education, that child pays bill, or let me think in a different way. Probably I can learn something more. As I said, remaining motivated is not something that comes for free. How you develop it consciously, working towards the goal, which will create the motivation, not the other way around. You have to take the motion and that creates the motivation, and not motivation and that creates the motion. It's never the other way around. Secondly, commit yourself to action. Sitting idle is not just good for yourself professionally, personally, financially, but also not good for your own body. Just sitting, going to office or going to a place, going to school, sitting, spending time, giving the attendance and coming back. Start taking action, and particularly small baby step actions, which will create the interest and create the motivation for you to take bigger actions. The modern name for the restlessness state of today is the distractions in social media, mobile that we face. So hence, so again, to help yourself improve your self mastery, we have come up with a method. We have spoken of the five hindrances, understanding exponential, and now the method acceptance. It's called the RAIN method. And how does it work? Let me tell you. First of all, RAIN, R means recognize your emotion. You get a work, it's boring, recognize that it's boring. Labeling your emotions creates a distance between you and the negative emotion. If you see somebody, you feel a sense of hatred or dislike towards him, say, okay, fine, I'm feeling dislike, but fine, this particular person is coming, let me just greet him and think. Once you label the emotions, you create a distance between yourself and the emotions, and as a result, you are able to take proper actions. Now that you have recognized the emotion, your work is boring, accept it. First you recognize it, it's boring, then you accept it, fine, the work is boring, fine. But at the same time you investigate. Then the other step is I in RAIN is now investigate. Why do you think it's boring? Majority of the office work, majority of the professional work is not the most exciting work in the world. But having said that, you investigate. Okay, fine. Why aren't you able to create interest? Probably first accept that it's boring. Fine, the work is boring. The majority of the professional literature that's given may not be interesting, but you create your interest by saying okay, how this work fits in the overall hierarchy of the work, overall hierarchy of the office, and how you, by doing this work, are part of that organization. You have to create a particular goal in your mind. Goal is excellence, and excellence in everything which you do, and this is one of the things you're doing. And hence, even if the work is boring, but for your values to be aligned, you have to give the perfect shot at it. And once you start thinking, okay, you got a 20-page or 50-page report to write or a read, but let's take baby steps. You start taking baby steps, interest will develop, and once you start with the interest, then the snowball effect will take place. So investigation. And N is non-identification. You say to yourself, okay, I am not that feeling. I am different from my feeling, and hence you will be able to separate. Imagine you have a craving for junk food in front of you. Ask, ask, what is going on with me? You have a sudden spike of this saliva in your mouth is tempting. Stay with the feeling for some time, and then you feel the spike of intense desire, but distance yourself from it. You're saying, "Okay, fine, I'm getting this satiating feeling, I'm getting this appeal, food is appealing, I need to eat it." But stay with that feeling for some time. Once you say that feeling, okay, fine, you're getting the desire to eat, you are different. Your body says, okay, nahi, it should not eat because it's going to add calories. You cannot burn those calories in so quickly. That food is there, then that creates a distance. You will notice that such hindrances are mostly states of mind and mostly unique to individuals, and hence self mastery is not a life but a mindset. Also, another important aspect is that of exponential avoidance, experimental avoidance, which means that if you postpone work or any other thing for any reason, the longer you postpone it, the more unpleasant feelings it will start creating. If you have a deadline, if you have a report to submit in 10 days, you say, okay, fine, you have time, this work is boring, this and that. 9 day, 8 day, 7 day, you will keep postponing. Eventually, you will come up at a time, fourth day or fifth day, you will start developing negative feelings, more negative feeling. The work is boring, is disgusting, is distasteful, and all the negative connotations. And eventually, it will be far more harder for you to tackle the work. Then the last day, last minute work will for sure have negative consequences for yourself. Also, moving on to the next slide, a very important slide about the discipline mindset. Discipline mindset. So let's see what the slide says. First of all, embrace discomfort. That is, you have to understand that if you have to grow, you have to experience discomfort. And hence, when you feel discomfort while achieving any goal, be it spiritual, financial, relationship wise, anyway, remember that growth requires discomfort and sacrifice. No growth, be it at a professional level, personal level, financial level, can be achieved without discomfort and sacrifice. And hence develop the mindset and do not get frustrated or give up too soon. Rather accept such feelings, which is acknowledge the reality as it is. If the work is boring, be it. If somebody is somewhere, be it. That way, you will be able to create and accept them, create a distance, and you can take your required action. Always remember that pain is inevitable, however, suffering is not. As Buddha said, it is the first dart that should give you the pain, the second dart should not. Because once you have undergone that pain, you've accepted such experiences such a way, then it should not be a surprise the next time around. Accepting is basically not to add anything more to the second dart or the second pain. Acceptance is the opposite of avoidance. Instead of avoiding work till the last day, just accept it that work is so and so and you have to do it. It's with your value system that you have to give an excellent job and you have to achieve excellence. Accept the issues, you name the experiences, become self-aware by calling it lack of knowledge. You can call it, okay, fine, why is it boring? Why is it so disgusting? You can call it, it's lack of knowledge, lack of experience, it's tension, it's distracting, this and that. At first, do not do anything about them. Just become aware, just name it, and not name calling. Not name calling. Don't abuse the feeling, just name it. It's a depression, it's tension, it's boring work. Call it and notice it without judgment. Step two, get a strong why to get about the roundabout. You see, if you don't have the psychological flexibility, you will end up in a roundabout. And roundabout, we all know, we'll come back to the same place. You go around a roundabout, it takes you to the same place. So once if you keep postponing a work, it will take you back to square zero. You have not done anything. So you have your strong why you want to get off the roundabout. Your why should be your value system. Your value system is that you want to be the top performer. You want to give an excellent work. So develop this strong sense of a why and start attacking your work. And third step is to make the decision. Start attacking the work. The decision is okay, fine. The work may be boring, disgusting, disgruntled, whatever. But my values, I have to give excellent assignment. I have to be a champion of my work. So let me do the work and let me just not take the roundabout and go straight. Then comes the thing that you may have noticed, and it's very natural to think that so many accomplished people on whom so many self-help books have been written may not have actually read them themselves. They actually are the ones who embody all that's written. And why they don't need to read it? Because they already have a mindset to carry on all that which is written. You can adopt their habits, and their habits we all know. Successful people, they get up at like 5 a.m., they take a cold shower, they go for a long walk, they do meditation, they do exercise, and they are good readers. We all know. And you can adopt them. Let's say you adopt them. But for you to be on the success path, you have to adopt their mindset. That's more important. Their habits are a result of their mindset and not the other way around. For successful people, there are three common characteristics that have come. First is ability to embrace discomfort. Second is psychological flexibility, and third is capacity for emotional regulation. And as we will see in the next slide, okay, the disciplined mindset embraces discomfort, psychological flexibility, and emotional regulation. So let's talk about it. Discomfort, we've already spoken. Okay, discomfort, all successful people have a long-term relationship with discomfort, and what they call is the discomfort orientation. All of them have it. Once someone attains a little success, mostly they get into the comfort zone and numb themselves to what used to give them satisfaction, which was to take pleasure. Unfortunately, our existing life is packed with all sort of comfort. You just order, the food comes, you order, books come, you have to go somewhere, you have air conditioned cars, you have air conditioned rooms. So our current life is just geared for comfort. So but to grow, we have to get into the discomfort zone. So again, how do we develop? So we need to develop these discomforts for us so that it attunes ourselves, our mindset for higher things. So once you face mental challenges, you discover that you're capable of much more, and mental barriers were just in your mind. Our ancestors had to hunt for food and had to carry heavy weights over long distances. And when you do that, stretch yourself physically, you notice how you also become emotionally strong and mentally strong. It's all goes round and round. You go to a gym, you build your resistance, you build muscles, and you also discover that you also have a higher threshold to have mental and spiritual and emotional stress. So again, question comes, how to introduce discipline in life. First of all, there are various things that have been practiced over the years. The first is fasting, physical activities. You can go to a gym and show you go for long walks, discipline yourself, embrace boredom. One thing we all are very comfortable with is whenever we have 2 minutes, we are waiting in a doctor, hospital, line, traffic, we take out a cell and start looking at it. We are trying to kill boredom. But if you remain in that feeling, you embrace the boredom. Okay, fine, I'm here. My ancestors, not 30 years, 40 years back, our parents did not have this, so they remained with themselves. And minded solitude is a great part, and if you give it time to process, give it time, the body to process mentally, be in a solitude place, your mind enters a generative mode, and you get some good ideas from your mind as to how to do best at your life, how to tackle the various issues you're having, provided you don't get distracted. You embrace boredom and you think boredom is another way how you can improve yourself and give you good ideas to work with. And psychological flexibility, it is okay, how be prepared to face the various sunrises and sunsets and ups and downs and come in your life. Life can't go on the same every time. Every time you can't be young or throughout, you can't be old throughout, you can't be a child throughout. So that is why action and commitment therapy is learning to stay focused on what you value no matter what negative or uncomfortable sensation arise. This is what is termed as psychological flexibility. If you have committed yourself to excellence, if you have committed yourself to helping people, it doesn't really matter whether you get an award, you don't get an award, whether somebody praises you, no, you stick to the objective. When we focus on suffering, suffering expands. However, when we stay in the moment and behave as values driven active agents, we become more flexible. This is breakthrough idea for some people. You do not have to like a task to do it, and you can experience unpleasant feelings without them meaning anything, as you do not judge them. You are always empowered to act towards your goal and in line with your values, whatever passing sensation you are experiencing. This is extraordinary freedom that when you separate yourself from your feelings. Again, we have touched on it a little while back, how acceptance, instead of avoiding any negative or unpleasant feelings, engage in formal mindfulness practice by sitting in silence and just allowing those experiences to be present, embrace them as they are part of your journey. And how do we identify such negative feelings? First of all, ask yourself, what am I unwilling to feel? If I'm upcoming financial issue, upcoming professional issue, relationship issue, what am I unwilling to feel? Use this question as a guide to feel the feeling, but just as an observer, Don't let the feelings over control you, and this way you and the feelings will coexist and you will embrace it, and hence move from fusion, being entangled with the feeling, to diffusion, seeing thoughts as separate from yourself. Fusion to diffusion, being entangled in the thought, to diffusion, you're being separate from your thoughts. Once you are able to manage this coexistence and you practice enough, you will have more control over your thoughts. You can practice present moment contact, which is, okay, either, every time it's either the future anxiety or the past regrets that haunt us, but you can see the sight, sound, smell, taste, sights around you, so that to come to the present, remember that past and future thoughts are only cognitive elements and not real, and mostly appear larger and more intense due to overplay and overthinking. And you can also imagine, okay, for example, if you were to die tomorrow, and instead of your name, people will write the values you carry, what values you want to be remembered for. Now, let's take an example. You have a boring report to submit. Admit that the work is boring, means acceptance of the feeling. By accepting, you remind yourself that your boredom is just a fleeting experience you have, not whole world. Diffusion, you have diffused it, you are separate from your feelings, and you consciously choose not to escape into mindless internet scrolling or mobile searching. Present moment contact, and remind yourself that your organization is depending on you for this report or for this submission, and you derive satisfaction from being the one who can help in this way, and hence meet your values of being the top performer, excellent work. Then the 90-second rule, which we saw earlier, what is it? Do not act immediately to any emotion, particularly negative ones. Give it at least 90 minutes. Why? So that the emotions can pass. Let it drive your mind, not emotions. It's scientifically proven that any negative emotion, fear, anger, frustration, depression, has a chemical reaction which lasts 90 seconds. And in case you do not allow it to subside, it keeps coming back. So just wait 90 seconds, half a minute for your response. And then you will not respond, you will not reply, you will respond by thinking and analyzing it carefully. We have heard this, and a very important quotation which I'll quote: between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. I'll repeat: between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our power to grow and our freedom. Best way to implement this 90-second rule is self-awareness. Become more aware of your emotional reaction, which usually manifests itself in a distinct psychological signature. That is anger with increased heartbeat, fear with dry throat or other psychological impact, cardiovascular pain in the chest. And you are reading a chapter, you come across as a difficult one. At once you think, I'm not capable, I'm stupid, I'm a loser, let's leave it. Rather, wait for 90 seconds, let those feelings die down, and then you can say, let me check probably with some other sources, let's see where it's explained better, let me check the internet, and you can say, I'm capable, and proceed. You could notice that once you lose interest in the text you're reading, you feel heavy, eyes sore, and you feel like escaping to a nice snack or mobile. However, just get up, stretch, let the blood flow through various parts of your body, including your head, and come back to the topic. Labeling your emotion is a great way to handle them. You could just cease to pay attention to your work and say your work is boring, you want to quit, but you pause for 90 seconds and think you could be overwhelmed, and hence a small break could help strategize your work. Hence, coming back to the next slide is a discipline habit, where we talk about the procrastination, doom loop, finding your flashlights, the arrow of focus, and Spartan discipline. You have to understand that procrastination or laziness is not just laziness, not just a feeling. It has been studied by various senior psychiatrists, and they believe that's more a doom loop, which could be due to fear, perfectionism, and you enter a state of guilt, shame, and the more you differ, the more intense these feelings become, and it's highly unlikely that you will end up doing or submitting your work. Solution: change your frame of work, mind. Take baby steps. Practice self-compassion. Okay, no, I'm not stupid. I'm not that bad. Let me take a small thing. If I have 50-page report, let me try to reach the 5 pages. Let me read in the middle. Let me develop interest. Best way to improve your attention is to pay attention to the way you pay attention. I will repeat. Best way to improve your attention is to pay attention to the way you pay attention. And that is what finding your flashlight is. You have a dark room, you point the flashlight to a particular area, that area lights up, and this is where your focus is. Flashlight has wandered from your task and then bring it back. Think of your focus like a flashlight. You are reading something, you think of food, you think of your family, you think of whatever your past or future. Think of your focus as a flashlight and bring it back to the point at hand. Also, you can use an arrow model of focus. Instead of flashlight, think it's an arrow. You're pointing your arrow to hit your target. You want to hit your target, you have to read the report or write a report or research a report. And hence, if your arrow is going towards your food or family or financial, whatever, you said, no, this is not my arrow right now. My arrow is this report, and let's shoot the arrow. Then comes the concept of Spartan discipline. There are various ways you can boost focus. Have a coffee, but definitely not in the first 2 hours of waking up, because within the first 2 hours the body itself produces enzymes and hormones to activate you. Then, and some form of a stress is always healthy. You can't have zero stress. Discover your optimum level of stress. Your boss has given you a deadline. Let's see which sort of a stress. Okay, you have 10 days, or you can say 30 days. You say within the you'll be 30 days is too big a target, when you will start working at 15 days before the deadline. So that level you have within, when the report is due in 15 days, you develop the optimum stress level, and then your best will come. But if you for 30 days, if you start, you say, okay, fine, we still have time, you keep postponing. 15 days you have the optimum stress level. Probably 5 days before the report you will have increased stress level, and you end up screwing the report. And hence, also concept of what to do is also a concept what not to do. But when you think of what not to do, you tell yourself what to do instead. Instead of looking at your mobile or screen time, go read a book. Instead of eating junk food, you will eat green vegetables, fruits. So always tell yourself, your it's not okay, I will not look at the mobile, because then the mind subconscious only looks, they don't know, understand, no, they go for the mobile. Tell yourself what will do instead. You will not have coffee, you will have probably fruit juice, something like that. Always have the alternate available. So hence, uh, coming to the last slide and the call to action, okay, what we should do is, okay, laziness has deeper roots. It's not just laziness. Self mastery is a solution which we spoke about. Face discomfort, and call to action is take small deliberate action today. Take small deliberate action today towards your goal. And hence, you just visualize yourself, okay, you are breaking through a wall labeled resistance. It's a wall, and you break yourself. Visualize yourself as doing that. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And as I said, kindly subscribe to my channel, and hope to see you soon with my next video. Thank you.